In a quiet mountain village, where clouds touched the trees and rivers whispered through the rocks, lived a young deer named Nilo. He was smaller than most deer, with light brown fur and gentle eyes that always looked curious, as if he was searching for something beyond the trees. Nilo was different from the rest of the herd. While others raced across meadows or played under the waterfalls, Nilo preferred to sit still. He liked to listen to the wind, to the birds, and sometimes to the strange sounds from the nearby village. At night, he would stand at the edge of the trees, watching the tiny yellow lights in the homes, listening to distant music, and dreaming about the world humans lived in. One cold winter morning, the forest was silent. Snow had covered the ground, and the trees stood frozen, like statues in white coats. As Nilo walked slowly through the woods, his ears caught a sound. Not a bird, not an animal. It was soft, broken, crying. He followed the sound through the snow-covered bushes and stopped near a large stone. There, sitting all alone, was a little girl with a red scarf. Her cheeks were pink from the cold, and her eyes were full of fear. Her name was Luma. She had followed a butterfly too far from home and got lost in the forest. Now she was cold, scared, and had no idea how to get back. Nilo stepped out from behind the trees. Luma looked up, surprised. For a moment, both were still. One breath, two, and then, slowly, Nilo lowered his head. Not as a threat, but as a sign of peace. Luma wiped her tears and stood up, her tiny boots crunching in the snow. Without a word, she began walking behind him. Step by step, Nilo led her through the woods. He knew these trees, every path, every frozen stream. He walked gently, stopping when she got tired. He looked back every few steps to make sure she was still behind him. When her scarf got caught on a branch, he waited. When she slipped on the icy ground, he stood beside her until she stood again. But the cold was growing deeper. The sky was turning gray. Luma began to shiver harder, her steps slower. She finally fell near a pine tree, too tired to move. Nilo stood beside her, unsure. Then he did the only thing he could. He lay down beside her, curled his body around her small frame, and let his warmth protect her from the cold. Somewhere, far off in the distance, a bell rang. Voices were shouting. Lanterns flickered through the trees. The villagers were searching for her. Nilo stood up and lifted his head high. He let out a loud snort. Once, then again. A man holding a torch paused, turned, and shouted, "This way!" Moments later, footsteps raced through the snow. Luma's father ran toward her, wrapped her in his coat, and held her close, tears running down his face. "Luma," he whispered. Luma, still weak, pointed at Nilo. "Papa, he saved me," she said softly. The villagers looked at the deer in silence, but Nilo had already turned. Without a sound, he walked back into the forest, disappearing into the falling snow. The next morning, as the sky turned gold and the trees sparkled with frost, Luma walked to the edge of the woods with a small basket. Inside were apples, nuts, and a red ribbon. She placed it gently on the snow and whispered, "Thank you." From the shadows of the trees, Nilo watched. He didn't step out. He didn't need to. He blinked once, slowly, then turned back toward the quiet heart of the forest, where kind hearts don't ask for anything in return.